democratic process in America does not end at the voting booth. Every day, scores of citizens work alongside elected officials to help shape and create public policy. In this episode of Open Source, we examine the role that citizen activists play in the formation of public policy. We'll also join journalist Eric Black for a roundtable discussion about the public's role in American lawmaking. On February 4th, the Minnesota legislature opened its 2010 session. Minnesota has long been noted for its culture of civic engagement, and every session sees scores of activists, lobbyists, and protesters descend upon its Capitol building, looking to influence the votes of Minnesota legislators.
First of all, I got a lot of phone calls at home, and I think I've received phone call on every major holiday, including Christmas Day and Easter Sunday. And sometimes they may be asking you to change a law. Sometimes they may be asking you to introduce a law or asking you to help with a specific problem that's affected their family. So I'll listen to their story, and if their story makes sense to me, I'm going to see what I can do to help.
Citizen involvement in the lawmaking process takes several forms. Some get involved in formal organizations that lobby for particular issues. Others approach legislators on their own, hoping to influence their decisions.
Citizen lobbyist would be, just like it sounds, any citizen who cares about an issue, who contacts their elected representative to say, this is how I feel about this issue, or have you ever considered this law and how unfair it is and how it needs to be changed? Would you be willing to sponsor a bill? And I think a lot of citizens don't realize that you can actually come to the Capitol, and even if the legislature is in session, you can send in a note to your legislator and say, I'm outside, I'd like to talk to you about this particular bill that I support. I remember the first time I did that, my whole attitude and the attitude of the people I was with were, we can do that? We can pull them off of the floor to talk to them? And the answer is yes, and often they're happy to come and talk to you because they see the professional lobbyists all the time. But because it's still, I won't say it's a rare occurrence, but it's not as usual to see people taking time off of their paid work or whatever else they're doing with their lives to come to the Capitol.
Darrell Paulson has been active at the state capitol for nearly 20 years. In that time, he has advocated for a variety of disability-related issues, both on his own and in conjunction with other groups.
My day at the Capitol generally would start 9:30. Do you have another green book I can get from you, Scott? Or do you have a red book or not?
Yeah, yep, we have a red one also.
So I'll generally go to the Senate Information Office, or I'll go to the House Information Office and get what's called the calendar of the day, which basically tells me what committees are meeting that day. Then after that, I generally follow those committees and take notes, and at the end of the day, I would follow up with making phone calls or meeting with legislators. I know you're really active on transportation. The thing I like about me is I'm not really polished, so I become a real face, I become a real person, but I have done this so long that I gain a certain amount of respect around, very high-profile legislators.
We're having as you guys know, a pretty tough year here.
Darrell's political activism began 2 decades ago when he attempted to get a stop sign installed in his neighborhood. At the time, Paulson met Jim Metzen, who helped to get the sign placed.
Well, Darrell and I go back a long way. How many years? 15, 20 years at least? Yeah.
Years, yeah.
But Darrell's come through this door, 4,000 times, I suppose, or whatever. But.
Well, in the beginning of session, it's fun, it's bubbly, it's really exciting. Everybody's glad to see each other. And it's those informal relationships that you work upon, because when the work needs to be done in the last 3-4 weeks of session, in the last month of session, It's those conversations in the beginning that I can build from when the bills come forward and the bonding bill comes forward and the PCA bill comes forward and the home care bill comes forward. And even if I'm not at the table, I know that they're thinking of me and they're like, if it works for Daryl or if Daryl supports this, then it's going to work for a lot of other folks.
I just wanted to tell you about my my website that I've been developing.
Like Daryl, Nicole Villavicencio is a disability rights advocate who spends a large amount of time at the Capitol.
Citizen lobbying and grassroots politics is empowering, and it feels good. I mean, it feels good to help other people. It always does. It's exciting to be in the hubbub of the Capitol and all the things that go on, and you feel like you're part of your community more when you do those type of things. I think everybody likes to feel like they're part of something, and that's one way to do it and have a real effect on your life and others.
I see more and more of us coming every year because local government is becoming more accessible, especially through the internet and the web technology. People can dial in to local government, community government, virtually anytime, day or night, and I see that as a plus. So I see more and more of individuals like myself, citizen lobbyists, are advocates for all kinds of different issues.